Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Nobody Special, and today we're going to be talking about something called a geofencing warrant, or geofence warrant, geofence search warrant. I'm sure there's probably several names for it, and it is as ominous as it sounds. So, you may be asking yourself, what exactly is a geofence warrant? And is it something I should be concerned about? The answer is yes. Yes, you should be very concerned about this. So, a geofencing warrant is something that law enforcement can present to a company that collects cell phone data, cell phone location data, that corresponds with a particular date and time, probably when a crime was committed. And so this company will turn this data over to the law enforcement, and they'll sift through it and use context clues and, cross match information and hone in on a criminal. Now, I know what you're thinking because I thought the same thing. I was like, well, they're not going to arrest someone just based off of that. There's going to have to be other circumstances involved. And of course, all of those circumstances would have to be spot on for them to arrest someone. And of course, that's how they would know that that person was guilty. But that's not always the case. An example that I stumbled upon was a case where a man by the name of Jorge Molina was arrested. And it's quite a scary story. And I'll come back around to it. So, why would you be concerned about your data being collected? Well, there's all sorts of reasons. There's privacy and, Fourth Amendment and things like that. And now, if you aren't from the US or if you aren't familiar with the Fourth Amendment, allow me to read the summary of it for you. The Constitution, through the Fourth Amendment, protects people from unreasonable searches and seizures by the government. The Fourth Amendment, however, is not a guarantee against all searches and seizures, but only those that are deemed unreasonable under the law. Now, there's a whole lot more that goes into it, and I'll put a link down below that protects us interested in learning more. But that's the gist of it. There's been many court cases discussing or ruling on certain legalities of searches that pertain to the Fourth Amendment. So there's a lot to it. But my concern is, if I haven't committed a crime, I'm not suspected of committing a crime, why does law enforcement get to find my data? Why are they entitled to that information? And I don't have the answer for that. It's probably being hashed out in court as we speak. So then my next question is, well, how do I prevent this? And that's what I wanted to really talk to everyone about, was how can you protect yourself from getting caught up in one of these possibly unconstitutional dragnet searches? So the first thing that comes to mind is to disable Google location data, right? Shouldn't that be enough? Just don't let Google collect it. No, because Google isn't the only company. There's Uber, Snapchat, Lyft, probably Facebook. Essentially, any company that tracks your location by your cell phone can be subjected to a warrant like this. So that's a good place to start, but you can take it a little further. The next thing is to use something like a Faraday bag. If you aren't familiar with a Faraday bag or what it is, well, I'm here to tell you. Okay, so a Faraday bag is essentially a bag that you can put your electronic devices in that blocks signals from being sent and received. And it does this by the material that the bag is made out of. Typically, they're made out of metallic layers. You may have copper or aluminum, polyethylene, things like that. It is
That's
named the
essentially what it
Faraday
does, is
bag
it blocks
after
signals from
the
being sent
inventor of the
and being
Faraday
received.
cage. And can you guess what
And
his name was? I think you can also seal them up so it tells you if it's been tampered with. It just kind of depends. There's a lot of options on the market. You can get them from
I'm pretty sure
Amazon.
it
I'm
was
sure you can get them from
Faraday.
eBay if you just Google Faraday bag.
Anyway,
So you can probably pick one up fairly inexpensive because it seems like there's a lot of them out there. Okay, so we talked about turning things off on your phone, and now we've talked about Faraday bags. There are other things that you can do as well. Um, there are certain phones that you can buy that are pretty secure. The Librem 5, I believe, it is an option, but it's thousands of dollars. I think it's like $2,000. If that's kind of out of your price range, the other option is just get an old refurbished phone off of eBay and get a prepaid SIM card. eBay is a great source for the refurbished phones. I've gotten several from there, not because I knew about geofencing, it's just a cheaper option. You can also change your operating system. There's some more secure operating systems. Now, the key, if you go this route, is don't connect your phone to Google services. I know that's hard in this day and age because Google makes our life so much easier, but makes you wonder why. Anyway, so yeah, that is some things that you can do. You can search how to protect myself from geo fencing and police and unconstitutional searches and things like that. Now, you're probably saying, why would I want to do this if I'm not guilty of anything? And that brings us back to Jorge Molina and the tragic case of Joseph Knight. So, on March 13th, I believe, of 2018, Mr. Knight was riding his bicycle home from work. He was almost there, and a white car pulled up alongside of him, and 9 shots rang out from the driver's side window. 3 of them unfortunately struck Mr. Knight, and he did pass away. The police did have some grainy CCTV footage, but it didn't really show anything. No license plate, no driver identification abilities, or anything like that. So they got a geofencing warrant. And according to the information that they received, a man by the name of Jorge Molina was in the area. His phone was connected to Google services. He also drove a white car, and his phone traveled the same path that the white car did in the CCTV footage. So, of course, they're like, this is the guy. We got him. And in December of 2018, Mr. Molina was arrested. Now, he had an alibi. He told the police, look, I have friends that'll tell you where I was. I was 2 miles away. Now, I say that because the shooting took place at 12:12, I believe. And his friends said that he was at their house at 12:11. So there was no way he could have gone 2 miles in 1 minute. The police didn't really want to hear all of that. They still kept Mr. Molina in custody for 6 days because he couldn't really explain the other stuff. He couldn't explain how his car was there or how his phone was shown to travel that path. But then the case unraveled, fortunately for Mr. Molina, and it was found out that his stepfather, Marcos Cruz Gaeta, and I apologize if I'm not saying that correctly, had taken his car without his permission, and Mr. Molina had given him an old phone that was still logged into Mr. Molina's Google account. And that's why it looked like it was Mr. Molina's phone traveling the same route as the suspect's vehicle. Now, Mr. Molina's stepfather, Marco Cruz Gaeta, was a bad guy. He had criminal record. His wife or ex-wife said that he carried a gun with him everywhere he went. He was violent, and it came to be obvious that that was who they were looking for instead of Mr. Molina. But unfortunately, in that 6 days leading up to them realizing they had made a mistake, Mr. Molina's photo was posted all over local and national media saying, hey, suspect caught using this new technology. You know, what a wonderful thing we've done, da 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 da. And some people even think that the police weren't so much worried about catching the bad guy as they were like saying, look at us, we've used this technology and we got it right. But the thing that really gives me pause about this story is that so many circumstances had to line up perfectly for him to be arrested. Mr. Molina, I mean. And so when you say, oh, it wouldn't happen to me, you know, because there's checks and balances, not always. And, you know, crazy things happen in this world. So that is just an example of what can happen, what can go bad with this technology. Now, the victim in this case, Joseph Knight, was loved by his family members and people that knew him. And it was very, very tragic what happened to him. Now, there is a GoFundMe set up for Mr. Knight. I will leave the link down below if you want to check out the story and, you know, give of your heart if you feel so inclined. So to wrap this all up, I guess the biggest thing I'd like everyone to take away from this video is we have to be diligent. We have to protect ourselves, because a lot of times those that are entrusted with protecting the rights of the citizens and the rights of the community get blinded by agendas or just caught up in the moment. We've all heard of them having tunnel vision. So just make sure that you protect yourself. You do what you need to do to ensure that you don't get caught up in the snares of false accusations. And yeah, I guess that's about it. If you like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe. As you can tell, this channel is brand new. I'm new to all of this, so be kind. And in the meantime, I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. Stay safe out there. And don't forget to turn off your GPS tracking on your Google. Bye.